combine, you can come and see us here. Homegrown company, Puckett is. They've got deep roots in Middle Tennessee. They support all kinds of events and athletics. They are proud to partner with NASCAR. We got a big NASCAR race coming up. You can even have Puckett's food at the NASCAR race, or you can come here to Puckett's in Murfreesboro and you can eat it. Their staff is amazing, nicest bunch of people. This place is the coolest looking place. So you can come eat here with us, and then you could at the NASCAR race you could have your own Puckett's food there too. Oh, they're everywhere.
Well, guess what? I'm gonna go to the NASCAR because I'm gonna get Puckett's and the NASCAR in. Yeah, I'm going. I'll be there. Trying to figure out what day I'm gonna go.
Which race? Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong. That'll all be fun.
Yeah. Make sure. Maybe that's a wife trip. Yeah.
You going to take your wife to the race?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
She like fast cars?
Yeah.
Well, there are going to be plenty of them out there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she likes the heat too, so they have accommodations out there for her.
Okay, well,
they do. They have water, cold rags, and everything else. I've checked into it already because I don't want to get myself in trouble on the couch.
You sound like you've really researched this.
Some research, yeah.
You can Puckett's is the official barbecue of the Nashville Super Speedway. If you're coming to the race in your RV, check your welcome pack for a special offering of a Puckett's pack. You can pre-order it. Pick it up at the track during select dates and times throughout the race weekend. This offer just for special RV guests. Again, you can come and you can try any of the great Puckett's food today with us if you'd like to do that. And you can come and hang out with us. Buck Rising was here earlier. Really, the big story right now, we're sort of waiting to see.
The big story is Puckett's food was really good. The chicken.
You had fried chicken.
Fried chicken, man. Ooh, good, man. Ooh, yummy, 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 yummy. As well as the fried pickles. Did you like those?
I always like fried pickles. Yes.
Man, I couldn't stop eating, man. I'm so full, man. I got to get some coffee now to wake up. Make sure I don't fall asleep. Now, when your stomach get bad, your stomach get full, you want to lay down.
Lucas may have tried this before. I saw our buddy Jordan Najani, who will join us tomorrow, had tried this. He put mayonnaise in his coffee. Apparently,
what?
Yes. Did you see this, Lucas? Apparently, Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, maybe that's the way he drinks his coffee.
Yeah, it's also the same guy that, went viral for eating bananas without peeling them.
I remember that. I do remember that. He was just eating them. Yeah, I even saw that.
He's also attracted attention for allegedly putting mayo in his coffee. I have not tried it yet. I have not checked with Jordan either.
So you did not actually see him actually drinking coffee with mayonnaise?
I don't know that there's proof of Will Levis doing that. I don't know if he did it for the TikTok views or what, but he did eat that banana without a peel.
I saw him do that one. Yeah, that without peeling it. It was kind of crazy. So then, for that being said, then Mickey, we need other people call in some of the craziest mix of foods that you've seen people, eat that they really love. We got something crazy that you like, put on put mayonnaise on your popcorn or something?
I don't really eat mayonnaise on anything. I've had a tuna fish and strawberry sandwich, which was actually pretty good.
Tuna fish and strawberry?
Yeah, I put some strawberry jam on there. I don't know why.
Strawberry jam. Okay.
Yeah, but I had strawberries. That was pretty good. I had a friend who would eat peanuts, shell and all. Like you go to the baseball game, he would get the bag of peanuts in the shells. He would just eat the whole thing.
I know people that do that.
Yeah, that's not as crazy to me because it's already together. He didn't put it together.
Oh, I can't.
But I wouldn't do that. But I probably accidentally have done that if I was really, really hungry.
To me, that goes along the lines of just eating the banana peel and all. Yeah. Just eating the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So nothing crazy with the mixer. I just knew you had something, man. Out in the country, man, back in your Arkansas days.
I always mixed all of my food together. I just kind of mixed it in a pile and ate it most of the time.
Now we're on to a whole nother story for me.
Okay. Like my wife's
I was
food
the
can't
opposite.
touch.
I used to growing up, I didn't want my food touching.
Okay, my wife is that way.
Yeah, I've kind of gotten away from that as I've gotten older. But when I was a kid growing up, and my mom used to be like, well, it's all going down the same way.
Yes.
I was like, but I don't want it all touching. I don't want to mix it. And then I found myself eating things one thing at a time. So I really stopped that habit early on.
You don't do that anymore, do you?
No.
Because I've watched you eat. You don't seem... Okay, all right. You move around freely.
But when I was a kid, 10, 11, 12, I don't know why I did that. I would eat one thing at a time. And then I didn't like it mixed. So, yeah, I don't know why, man. So that probably is the craziest thing as far as eating certain foods with mix. But,
I can't think of
Any food you would put with something that's like, ooh, that's different.
Well, the one thing I do after I eat Thanksgiving is I take some of everything later and eat a sandwich out of it. But it's all Thanksgiving food.
Yeah,
and I use the can of cranberry sauce. I use slices of that as like the as my condiment on there. But I don't know. I don't guess I mix a lot of things together. Not like coffee and mayonnaise.
That just didn't even sound right.
Yeah, and Dejani did it, so we'll have to ask him about it tomorrow. He'll join us in his regular time.
So if I put like mustard in my black coffee that I have sitting right here, that would sound odd, wouldn't it?
That would sound awful. Yeah, that would be. You want to do it? They got mustard in here. It's a restaurant.
Oh no! I didn't say
barbecue sauce. What about that? That might flavor it up. Hot sauce. You like hot sauce?
Well, if you want to do the show by yourself, because I'll be in the bathroom if that happens, then yeah, we can do that. We can try it out. I'll try it out.
Breaking news today. It looks like there looks to be, besides what we're eating at Puckett's, there looks to be maybe some kind of resolution with Deshaun Watson. Tony Busby, the attorney who's on the other side of the case, says, Busby, I guess, is, attorney Tony Busby says 20 of the 24 lawsuits filed against Deshaun Watson have been settled. So, since March 16, 2021, 25 lawsuits have been filed against Watson, alleging what they alleged. One of those was dropped by the plaintiff. The other 20 have been settled. That leaves 4 that have not been. Yeah, Busby represents the accuser, says Lucas. I thought I had that right on the other side. Yes.
So if he settles with the next 4, do you think then the NFL will give a suspension? Or was this kind of ignited with hearing rumblings that he may get suspended for another year and kind of got the ball rolling a little bit faster in these settlements, get it all past him, and so he can actually maybe potentially play this season and not miss an entire season? Because there was rumblings that they were going to come out right before training camp and say that they were going to suspend him for their entire season. I don't know if that was true or not, but that's.
I saw it was either late Friday or Saturday. Mark Maskey of the Washington Post, who's one of those OG, been around forever writers, he reported that Watson's camp thinks they're going to get a full season of suspension. That was his report. Then in the same story, he said the NFL hopes to have the entire process, including an appeal to Goodell, because it's, as you've mentioned before, it's to a lady now, like a former judge. She's over it now. That would include making the original ruling appeal to Roger Goodell or his designee, it says, resolved by the start of training camp. And then when we sat down here, I saw Jeremy Fowler on ESPN. We couldn't hear him, but we could see all the
breaking news,
everything they were putting like text-wise on the screen. 20 of the 24 civil cases against Deshaun Watson have been settled. And then per the NFL, today's development has no impact on the collectively bargained disciplinary process. That's the NFL saying still going to go through with it. But how long is the question? This is what we've been trying to figure out forever. But over the weekend, again, Mark Maskey reported they think a whole year. That wouldn't surprise me at all at this point, would it you? And then whatever they appeal, maybe they can appeal it down to 17 games. That's a whole year now.
I'm not sure where you're supposed to go really with this suspension. I was trying to find a case that was somewhat similar, and the only thing that came up, it wasn't a player with the NFL. It was an owner, right? Robert Kraft. And I don't know if you want to say the situation is the same, but you know how they handled that. I think they took draft picks,
got fined
$500 or $1 million. I mean, which is probably a penny to him, but at the same time, that was a harsh penalty in their eyes. Something they never had done. So I don't think was he suspended for any games or to attend any game?
Don't think so. We were doing some digging on this before we came on the air, and it said he got fined $500,000, and they broke it down into regular people dollars. It was $2.87 is what it was the equal to. But I don't think remember he got filmed, and then they had to throw all that out. It became
they couldn't use it.
Couldn't use it. So then he walked with no charges. He got no charges. So the NFL, I guess, fined him, but I think he got to continue to go to everything.
It would surprise me if he doesn't at least get suspended 8 games without pay naturally if you're not playing. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go all in and say a season and go, hey, what's $1 million to you when you got 230 million guaranteed? I don't know what any of the settlements, just to try to take a stance really here. I wouldn't be against it at all, not knowing any of the details of any of the cases. It's kind of interesting to me that 4 having it could be coincidence, but maybe those were a little more egregious than the others.
Yep.
That's my guess. I have no idea. And I wish we could find out like what the other ladies have settled on as far as ballpark figure, or at least a total amount of those 20s to this point. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, you can't have them representing the league without giving some form of a punishment. So I'm interested to see where they go.
A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
continue to bring up the Baker Mayfield angle too about, if I was him, I wouldn't. He's under contract.
Yeah, he gets $18 million regardless if it's from the Browns or another organization, which is probably keeping him from being traded. No one wants to trade, and his value is down now. That's why I would be open if I was Baker Mayfield to playing with the Browns. I know the system. I know the players. I'm going to have success, even if it's temporarily for the 8 games. And then that way I can now increase my value, not only to them, but also for other teams. And then maybe that leads me into a big contract after the season's up. And that gives me an opportunity to go play for another team for half of the season. They get to see me live and in action as well. And I'm fully healthy, at least to a certain extent where I don't have any problems with my non-throwing shoulder, which impacts your actual throwing motion of your throwing arm. I don't care what anybody says, it does. So we already know he's tough as nails. Is he an elite talent? I think he's a good talent. I think he's, probably I would say in the Tannehill category of just a solid average starting NFL quarterback. Tannehill's a little above that, but I would put Baker Mayfield, and all the pieces and the puzzles are there, and they have it. They're with the Browns. People forgot some of their moves. I mean, I'm going to just say Cooper, one of them, Amari Cooper. I mean, that guy's super talented, one of the best route runners in the National Football League. So that's kind of how I would approach it. But I don't know where he's at with the organization. I don't know where he's at with his teammates, probably 50-50 somewhere there with his teammates. I don't know what they're going to do. But if I'm in ownership, I'm not going to be paying a guy who's not injured. And if I have to bite the bullet and pay him most of his salary just to get rid of him and trade him and get a 5th-round pick, I would probably do that. If he was not a good locker room guy, if you never could really come to an agreement that let's let bygones be bygones and let's do this as professionals. So over time, sometimes it can get healed,
right?
And enough to where you're, in the locker room and still coexisting with the team.
We're at Puckett's on the Square in Murfreesboro. Let's grab a quick phone call. Scott is in his car and actually, I think, understands mayo and coffee together. He's on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
This is
Scott,
our big topic.
Thanks for calling.
What's up, fellas?
You tell us, man. How's the mayo and coffee thing?
Mayo and coffee.
Well, I think I know the principle behind it. I think mayo and coffee sounds gross, but I do put butter in my coffee. You got to use real butter. I just do a little pat of butter. I use Kerrygold myself, but the principle behind it, I think, is that with butter in your coffee, it's like bulletproof coffee. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Coffee has antioxidants and caffeine, obviously, and the butter slows the metabolization of the caffeine and the antioxidants. So it's supposed to give you a little more energy, kind of more steady throughout the day, and the release of those. It sounds like mayo is kind of the same principle because mayo is fatty like butter, and it would do that. Now, why somebody would pick mayo over butter? Because butter makes it creamy. You guys haven't tried it. You should try it.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, I do this sometimes, but it's unsalted butter in the morning. But do you blend it? Yep. You don't just put it in there. You blend it up together, right? I
in a pinch, Blaine, I'll just use a spoon and I'll mix it as good as I can. It does tend to rise to the top if you don't drink it quick enough, right? I also put some MCT powder in my coffee too. You may have done that too. But,
absolutely, I use oil instead.
I think that's the theory behind it. Is fattiness of the mayo does the same as the butter, but why on earth somebody would pick mayo over butter is beyond me. But I think that's probably the principle behind it. So,
okay.
There you go.
I didn't even think about that.
You boys have a good one.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's a great explanation.
Yeah, a lot of people say that theory with the bulletproof coffee. That's what it is. Some people say it works and some people say it doesn't. I do it on occasion, probably a couple of days a week, really. With unsalted butter, I cut it with a slice and I blend it with MCT oil in the morning when I get up. That's the first thing I do every day. I mean, well, at least 2 or 3 times a day. Sometimes I just drink it black and put the MCT oil in there by itself. And then just stir it up. I don't put any butter or anything like he's talking about with it just in there and try to, I don't do that. I have to blend it.
I've not had a cup of coffee in my entire life.
What? You've never had
I've not had that much coffee in my life altogether. If you add all the coffee I've ever had in my life, not 1 cup. We can pick this up on the other side. Also, it's time for Ding Dong of the Week. You got a Ding Dong you want to share with us?
You a Ding Dong, no coffee.
Maybe I'm the Ding Dong for not trying coffee. We'll be right back. Blaine and Mickey live at Puckett's in Murfreesboro on the Square.
Betfair, MLB.
You know what else is good? Farm Bureau Health Plans. Look to the folks at Farm Bureau Health Plans when you need someone who knows the health coverage game plan. They've been protecting Tennesseans for 75 years. They also bring us Coach Mac each and every week. Coach, there's been a lot of talk about Rob Moore's comments today. He said something that some people had maybe guessed about because they'd seen an inhaler. He said that Traylon Burks has asthma, and we know Traylon missed practice today. I wanted to ask you, did you ever coach anybody who was dealing with that specific issue? Is this something you know anything about, just in general?
I've had guys that had asthma. I also had guys when I was coaching at Arizona that were perfectly fine, and then we'd go up to Flagstaff for training camp at 7,200 feet and would have all kind of issues. And so have I dealt with that as a coach in my 31 years? Absolutely I have.
Well, and it seems like they're doing their best. Obviously, he didn't practice today. They've let him miss some drills. They're trying to manage the situation, but I guess each person being so different, you just kind of manage it on the fly, I guess, and just do your best as you go to keep the player healthy and to keep them as engaged as you can in every way that you can.
No, they'll get it managed. I mean, they've got it managed. I mean, he's got, and first of all, I mean, and again, I keep saying this. I said this, and not just with Traylon Burks. You guys hear me say this a lot, and I do it on the show, and I'll do it in person when I'm talking with people about rookies coming in for their first. They're not in NFL shape yet.
Yeah.
And whatever varying degree that is, and even if you were there at practice today, you can see how these practices are geared right now. A lot of it is conditioning practice, and so anyway. Guys, this doesn't move my needle a whole lot right now. It really does.
Coach Dave McGinnis, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, not to address Burke's situation, just kind of take us through the process of how NFL teams get information about a player and then how, like, maybe it may not even been on there and how that can be missed, or maybe he's adjusting to this climate here in Tennessee. But just kind of take us through how you find out about the medical records and how much information you actually get. Because that's always a question I get asked, and I've never actually, received the information. I was just always the person getting the test on.
That is the beauty of the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the medical reports that you get from the combine as an organization, first of all, and it's all completely shared with everybody. It is a thorough body check from top to bottom, everything included. And so there are some things that players find out at the combine that they had no idea they ever had.
That always fascinates me when they say, oh, you have a fracture in your foot. I think that was one year, just a couple years ago. And then somebody else had something else. And I was like, wow, that's weird. And he did all the drills and he didn't even know. I think it was Randy Moss's son, the tight end from LSU. That's
Moss.
He found out that he had a fracture in his foot and he didn't even know.
Well, I mean, we had a receiver from, I'm not talking out of school, at the Rams from the University of Missouri that had a congenital heart disease and had no idea. And finding the congenital heart disease, he was able to tell his family, and they went and got checked. And so, and most of them had it, and they were able to get it corrected and save.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. So we've gotten a little bit more on this mystery of Will Levis, Kentucky quarterback, drinking mayonnaise in his coffee. If you do a quick search on it, apparently he doesn't do it all of the time. He's trying to tell people he's not a complete psychopath. It's not something that he just does every day. But I think the origin of this, Lucas has found some audio. It's him on the phone with the Kentucky Sports Radio guys. And because we had a caller said he has butter in his coffee. I've heard of people doing that before, but why mayonnaise? Apparently Will Levis explained this to the Kentucky Sports Radio guys, and this is that particular audio.
You have kind of become the face of the program. A lot of it is from your social media stuff with the banana and the mayonnaise and the coffee and stuff. I mean, is this something we're going to expect to see the whole time you're here, your career here? You're just kind of give us little nuggets like that?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's not something I have planned out, and it's kind of just spur of the moment stuff. So once ideas start flowing,
hang on just a second. Spur of the moment. How do you spur of the moment decide to put mayonnaise in your coffee? And by the way, I was on SEC this morning on the SEC network today, and they have a conspiracy theory that you didn't drink it. I believe you did.
Oh,
I took up for you.
I definitely drank it. I can confirm that. But I mean, I was just out to breakfast at Josie's with my girlfriend that Friday, and I think I just looked over and I was wondering why there was mayonnaise at the table, and kind of forgetting that I put mayonnaise on my egg sandwiches sometimes, but she was like, maybe some people put it in their coffee, joking. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do that.
Okay, so
That's it.
So there you go. It's just not a lot of thought. There was no thought. It wasn't like the helps release.
No, his girl just told him, "Say, I wonder, why don't you try it?"
Yeah,
he said, "Oh, sure,
okay, whatever you say, baby."
Yeah, just like that.
Which makes you wonder, like, what else has she talked him into on the spur of the moment?
Texted you some news.
Well, we all know men do strange things for women. In more ways than one.
All right, we're tweeting this out. There's a Barstool Sports article about this. So check Blaine and Mickey Twitter. Mayonnaise and coffee. What's the craziest mixed food or drink combo that you've tried? We'll put this out, and we'll see some of your responses on this particular topic, just because apparently, like we said, there's no real reason that Will Levis has done this. So we're curious to find out what maybe you have tried with no real reason.
Well, Puckett said you can put their barbecue sauce. They had 2 for 1 year to July 5th at any time you want to. So, yeah, you come by. Start at Father's Day, and then it'll go to July 5th.
Put that in your coffee or just eat it?
Yeah, just, or put it on some barbecue.
We do have some breaking news before we get to any Ding Dong of the Week candidates. This is from Jordan Schultz, who's a sports reporter. I'm not sure who he's with now, but Gronk
said he's retiring.
Said he is retiring. Breaking. Rob Gronkowski tells me he's retiring. Future first ballot Hall of Famer, won 4 Super Bowls while earning a spot on the NFL's 100th anniversary team. 2010's all-decade team, an all-time great, officially hangs him up at 33 years old.
No,
says he's
age.
Excited to pursue other opportunities. I really wondered if he would come back again. I'm not surprised that he's retiring.
I still won't believe it until the season gets going.
And then he doesn't play.
And somebody gets injured, and then maybe he'll play then. Because remember, they drafted a couple tight ends. Remember, I said that before, Tampa Bay, and I would think he would want to go back and play with Tom. So really, he's not a spot. They already had another good tight end there. So, hey, yeah, more power to him. He's first ballot Hall of Famer, yeah.
Somebody gets injured, though, for the Bucs. It's like week 7, week 8. He didn't have to go through training camp. He's not having to do anything now.
Well, I think it's about pay, too, because what did he make? About, $8-9 million or so, whatever he was making. They probably say, we're going to go with $3 million. No, can do.
Not going to take that beating for that much money.
I can make that an endorsement.
But what if you get somewhere into the season, though?
And then they offer him that.
Yeah, then the 3 looks a little bit better when there's no training camp and no he wouldn't play in the preseason anyway, but
6 games left in the season.
Yeah, $3 million sounds about right for that. Sure.
Especially with some incentives.
Especially if they're good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll win another Super Bowl. Give me a few million. Okay, I'll do that. So Gronk stepping down. Now you can add that to your list of topics today. There's never a dull moment in the NFL, that's for sure.
Where would you rank him as far as tight ends in history? I'm trying to think of. I mean, I'm sure there's some back in the 50s and 60s. I'm definitely not gonna recall. But in the last 20 years, where would you put him?
I mean, the early guys were Mike Ditka and John Mackey. Mackey, who has the college award named after him, who are both fantastic players. And Mike Ditka, I know a bunch of you just know him as a coach, or some of you don't even remember him as a coach.
That's all I know him as, but I knew he was a tight end.
He's a really good football player for the Bears and played for the Cowboys.
I would say our generation started really with the Kellen Winslow.
Yep.
Who else was in that category back then?
Kellen Winslow was the biggie. The Cowboys had
Jay Novacek.
The Jay Novacek, before that, Billy Joe Dupree. The Cowboys always had a pretty good tight end, but Kellen Winslow, because of the offense that he played in, he was the guy who always got the big numbers. And you played with a tight end who, when he retired, he had 500 catches. Frank Wycheck, who at that time only 3, 4, 5 tight ends. It was ridiculous how much that number is blown up. But when Frank retired, there were only a handful of tight ends who had 500 catches.
Right. So during our era, that was Antonio Gates, Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp was during my era.
Shannon Sharp.
Trying to think of some of the other guys I played with in the Pro Bowl. I kind of don't remember the NFC. One guy that was pretty good that nobody mentions, Wesley Walls from the Panthers. Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, nobody ever even mentioned. I don't know his numbers or anything. I know he probably played in just the amount of many Pro Bowls I did. I always respected him because he was a better athlete than people wanted to give him credit for. I'm trying to think who else would be in. When I name all those guys, he's got to be right in the top 3 or 4, right?
And he'd be judged also against Kittle because his career finished against him.
Now this generation.
Yeah, he'd be judged against him. And
well, Kittle's is not done.
He'd be judged against, who's the other guy that I'm Kelsey.
Oh,
Travis Kelsey. Just
what? But they're not done.
Oh, I'm saying that's who he was played against late in his career.
Oh, that was late in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who was he. He might have been the most dominant. Now, people must not forget he was injured a lot. Like, he missed a year and a half of seasons because of broken form, elbow, back surgery.
Back surgery, yes.
So there was a period of time there where, even though he was so productive at a high level, that he also still missed. So I don't know if that hurts in where the pecking order, as far as his legacy versus other tight ends fit into there. But it's a tough one. You gotta say he was numero, if not one, number 2 during his era of playing.
And he blocked.
Yeah.
And he was just formidable with the ball in his hands. He was a great red zone threat. They'd throw him the ball and he'd jump up and catch it and Gronk spike it in somebody's face.
He had speed too. Early in his career, he was motoring. I'm like, man, I've never seen a tight end this big. Because I think they saw they got him in the second round. He had back surgery coming out of college at Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say that. And that's how New England actually got him.
Let's get the Ding Dong of the Week process going. Let's get our guy Eric in Nashville. Eric is always kind enough to check in with us in this regard. Eric, what do you got?
Hey, guys, you all talk about Titans. What about Tony Gonzalez and Dave Casper? Those a couple others.
Casper 70s for sure. Yeah,
man, I already said Gonzalez.
He said that was. I think it's always the first one Blaine said.
Because that's who I went against and I thought was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you talk about weird combination. I've heard somebody's dip like their French fries in mayonnaise. And one time I did it in mustard because there was no ketchup, but I would not recommend it. I definitely always prefer ketchup. Anyway.
I like those combinations. I actually would and throw some pepper on that.
That's my thing, though. Actually, it's another dumb criminal story. I had one last week. I've got another one. I don't know if you heard about this. I heard about this recently. A woman by the name of Sharon Carr in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was arrested not for it was just something just basically stupid that she did that got her arrested. But anyway, the police were called. And they got to this house where the screen door was down. They walked in. And they traced her by the evidence that she left behind, not footprints or anything like that, but she left crumbs, Cheeto crumbs. There was an open bag of Cheetos as well as Cheeto crumbs on the floor, and they traced them to her, and she was caught red-handed, or in this case, orange-handed.
Oh.
No, but this is not a joke, but this is actually true, but they saw the crumbs and stuff around their mouth and in their teeth. And here's my thing, guys. I'm never going to do anything like that. I'm not that stupid. But if you're going to do something like that, don't go to a crime scene hungry. I heard another one. I'll never remember this a few years ago where a guy got busted as part of his routine. He actually fixed a sandwich while he was at the crime scene. So just don't do stuff like that. Guys, y'all take care and have a great day.
Amen. If you want to share a ding dong with us, do it. Mark Spain makes it possible. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or, as we like to say, don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Lucas, Blaine. Normally we do this on Monday, but yesterday we were not partaking in live radio. So I'll ask you guys, what are your ding dongs for this week?
Well, naturally, I'm ready to give it to Chase Claypool. Oh, yes.
You mean top 3 receiver NFL Chase Claypool, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what he said on whose podcast? It was on a podcast.
I Am Athlete is the podcast. I think he was with Pac-Man Jones was one of them.
And Brandon Marshall.
Yeah,
Brandon Marshall.
I can't remember who the third was.
Yeah, I mean, and I get where he was coming from, but the way he did it, I did not like. I mean, you're also striving to be the best. I mean, you could say it that way, and hopefully you will be the best. I feel like I have all the ingredients, my work ethic and all that, but he was more arrogant with I'm the best, and right now he is not the best. Matter of fact, I don't even know if he's in the top 15. Matter of fact, is he number 1 in this conference? I mean, Jamar Chase is number 1.
What about his team?
What his team or what the Johnson guys better than him to me? So, I don't know, Chase. I think potentially he could be in that kind of conversation, but he's not there yet. And it's probably a couple years away. And by the way, he may not even get close to those numbers with the new quarterback. So you got to see how that all works.
Well, no, it's going to be tough this year. Lucas, you have that particular audio. This is it went down something just like this.
I know for a fact I am not like the rest of the guys in the NFL. Talk, I know I'm a top 5 receiver. I know I'm a top 3 receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like,
keep going. Keep going.
You know, I just got to prove to people. Right? When I'm working, I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm a dog.
Yeah.
He went from top 5 to top 3.
Yeah, I don't need
Deontay Johnson had 100.
That's what I said. Johnson
7 catches last year.
Yeah, that's what I said. This guy's pretty good. And he had some dropsies too along the way throughout the season. So, and I like his skill set. I think he can be really good, but it'll be interesting to see how they all transition to a new quarterback. And Brandon Marshall was sitting there as well in that conversation. And underrated career, by the way. I think he may hold, Lucas, you could probably check this. I think he had the most, I might be biting my tongue on this one, most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons as a receiver, maybe, something like that, in consecutively. I think he might have done that, and he might be the number one or one of the group of guys that has that.
He had 7 straight.
I was going to say 6. I remember that. And I think that is, I don't think anybody else holds that. I want to say Jerry Rice has to hold that, but yeah, every time somebody talks about him, they say he has this consecutive 1,000-yard season. And I would have never even thought about him that way because I didn't really watch him that way. He did have some dominant performances when I watched him a couple times where he received over 200 yards, I think 2 or 3 different times.
He is the first wide receiver to have a 1,000-yard receiving season with 4 different teams.
Oh, see, I knew it was something. So he's at the top. So that gives you this special connotation in the NFL, lures of all great players. And so and nobody even mentions him, by the way. And I think he should be in the conversation to be in the Hall.
Had 970 catches, 12,351 yards, 83 receiving touchdowns. He was 6-time Pro Bowler, 100 greatest Bears of all time. He played for the Broncos, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, Giants, Seahawks, and Saints. Yeah. He's well-traveled.
At the end. Yeah.
He was a fantastic player. He was a big dude, 6'5", 232.
Yeah, he would give people problems. And what made me think about that is because we're talking to Chase Claypool. And I'm thinking, big receiver to big receiver. And I was like, man, Brandon Marshall's sitting there like, Brandon Marshall was tough to stop, man. This guy was bad. Game changer. Like when you line up and say, okay, what we're going to do to try to contain this guy. Yeah. So that's who he was. I don't think Chase Claypool was there yet.
Lucas, I know we got a minute and a half or so. I'm just going to say mine because mine may be the same as yours. I'm giving my ding-dong this week to FIFA. Come on, man. Kansas City over Nashville. I get it, the Lamar Hunt connection. Lamar Hunt is a great father figure of American soccer. But seriously?
Man, they're doing $50 million worth of renovations to the city. Remember, that's what I said. Oh, you weren't here Friday. That's right. That's what I said. Kansas City shouldn't have been the city that beat Tennessee. It's just, I'm sorry. That hurt. And who was hurt the most was Lucas. And
I know. I was worried about him. Lucas, A, how are you doing? And B, who is your ding-dong of the weekend? Is it also FIFA?
I'm good.
Kirby.
I'm good. I'm emotionally getting over it. It is not FIFA, though.
Wow.
We will find out with the 2023 NFL draft and KC. We'll find out who's a better event city when that draft happens. But no, my ding-dong of the week is South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer, who was on a Twitter Spaces interview with the college football Reddit account yesterday and had this to say about expectations at South Carolina.
And I want to be at a place that has high expectations. I don't want to coach at a school whose goal is to, go win 4 or 5 games every year and then every couple of years make it to a bowl game. We have higher expectations here at South Carolina, and we should.
It's a high bar. Win 4 or 5 games every year, and then every couple of years go to a bowl game. I'm sure South Carolina fans are very relieved that Shane Beamer does not have the goal of winning 4 to 5 games and then every couple of years getting to a bowl game. I actually feel bad because I listened to the whole interview, and Shane Beamer came off pretty well if you're a South Carolina fan, talking about the direction of the program and how much more they want to achieve after overachieving a 7-win season in year 1 last season. But just that little snippet there I thought was funny because it got me thinking, what college football programs in the country actually have the goal of winning 4 to 5 games every year and then every couple of years getting to a bowl game?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I must have missed. Yeah, I heard him say that, but I was wondering what his ding-dong was.
The ding-dongery
he
of
used
it.
4 or 5 games as the barometer there. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe make 6 the barometer. Like, we don't want to just be bowl eligible every year.
Yeah. There you go. That's framed a lot better than our goal is not to win 4 or 5 games every year. Well, I sure hope so.
Well, you may not be coaching there, buddy.
Yeah,
that should go.
Yeah, his goal might be to collect all of his money up front. All right, when we come back, let's collect some left turns. We're going to talk some NASCAR. Eric Moses, who's the president of the Nashville Super Speedway, they got a big race weekend coming up. We're at Puckett's today. You can even get Puckett's barbecue there. He is going to join us next. We will get all the 411 on the big race weekend coming up here in Music City next with Eric Moses.
I want to go back to the Music City Miracle where you're spotting for Mike Keith, right? Yep. For those who don't know, you're pointing out tacklers, injured players. Mm-hmm. You are the eyes for the play-by-play guy for the things that he can't see.
Yep.
So during the Music City Miracle, or even the final play of the Super Bowl with Kevin Dyson reaching out 1 yard short, what are you doing in that moment? Like, what is your job during the Music City Miracle? Is there anything that you can do at that point helping Mike Keith make that call, or is that just pure chaos in the booth?
It's pure chaos that ended up being radio gold. There was nothing I could have done because Mike had been at all those practices. He had seen them run the home run throwback at the end of each practice. And we all remember the players going, I don't know why we're running this. We're never going to do this. What are we doing? We did it every practice, at the end of every practice. So he saw it immediately, and so did Pat Ryan. And there was nothing I could point to.
You're just waiting for a tackler, right?
Because it's down, where our booth is, it's at about the 40-yard line. This happens at the 20 going towards the south, 25-yard line towards the south end zone. And he sees it all develop right there. And mind you, the booth is one of the best views in the league, home or away, because we're not in the nosebleeds like we are in Houston or in Indianapolis now. And so just to see all that unfolded, because you would think with the way Pat Ryan is chirping over here, he's got it. He's got something. And Mike is just doing this tango with him, completely unscripted, all just like it happened organically. It was amazing. That was a pinch yourself moment.
Moses, he's the president of the Nashville Super Speedway. Should be checking in with us anytime here, Blaine. Big race weekend coming up. You've said you're going to be there. The LIV 400 NASCAR Cup Series race, June 26th at 4 p.m. Central Time. Maybe it'll cool down a little bit. Get it out there under.
I think they got cold rags and water they're giving out. At least that's what I'm gonna tell my wife.
You said that twice. You're fully prepared.
I'm gonna ask Eric if they're doing that just to make sure. Just clarify everything. I mean, they have to accommodate. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of hot. I would assume this weekend. You would know the forecast better than I over the weekend, but so hey, they don't want anybody out there some exhaustion. I'm gonna ask, can we actually bring your own water, or is that allowed? So that's what I'll make sure of, because as long as I'm not bringing a cooler worth,
NASCAR's always been pretty amenable to fans, like bring what you want, just because usually it's a big area and you're kind of tailgating and pre-gaming everywhere, and usually pretty good about it. So you've got the LIV 400, you got the Lottery 250 race, you got the Rackley 200, that's the truck race. So it is a full weekend that'll be going on. I'm looking at the Nashville Super Speedway website. Friday, June 24th, which is Friday. Ticket services open at 9 a.m. Parking lots open at 1. Fan zone opens at 2. That's literally just Friday. So you've got the Xfinity race, you got the truck race, you got the Cup race, you got practice kind of smashed in there. Mm-hmm. This is one of those deals that some of you might just go out and you may consume one race or the other. But then you got the people who bring the camper and they just go out there and that's what they do the whole weekend.
Yeah, like tailgate.
Oh, man. Oh, my gosh.
Got to make sure you get the app, too, man. That's where I, get the app for your tickets, man. So that shows you how much I know I'm going, because I got my app ready to rock and roll.
Okay, I'm super impressed by what you're saying here. This is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be part of the fan zone, man. I'm going to go hang out at the fan zone, man. Make sure I get some free waters.
I mean, there's all kinds of shows. Hunter Girl, who's local, who was on American Idol. There's dogs. Canines in Flight dog show. That's on Friday.
I did not know that.
Movie night on Saturday. There's fireworks again.
Yeah, I think I'm doing Saturday.
Charles Eston, who's a great singer and was on the TV show Nashville. And then Sunday, you got Brothers Osborne in concert. Another thing and they got a DJ. They have a Journey tribute band called Resurrection. And then the dogs are going to be back again. That's the one thing about NASCAR, too. It's like, oh, no, we're going to drive real fast. As fast as we can. But before that, here's 5 concerts and dogs jumping, and then we're going to shoot fireworks when it's over. Like NASCAR.
Sounds like my type of party. I grew up with that Indy 500. That's about right. Except for, the infield. And what's the infield going to be like? It was always nice scenery there.
But I was going to say, you speaking with reverence about the IndyCar infield.
Yeah.
Dan and Gallatin is on the Mark Spain Road. We're going to keep trying to get Eric Moses. Hopefully we'll get him in soon. But in the meantime, Dan and Gallatin is called in.
Between time.
And he wants to talk a little NASCAR on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Dan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Okay, Blaine, I'm from Gary, Indiana. So, okay. We're around each other. But anyway, I went to Chicagoland Speedway. This has been years ago. And they would not let me take a cooler into the Speedway.
Please don't tell me that's true.
Hello?
Yeah. We're just reeling from that.
Oh, okay. So I've been to Talladega. I've been to Darlington. I've been to all these racetracks. And I carried my cooler like I don't know, it was like 2 miles from the parking spot. And they would not let me take a cooler, and that I was allowed 1 bottle of water unopened.
Well, that'll be. I'm gonna go on the line here. That's the difference between going there and then to the Nashville Super Speedway. You get to bring, you got to be able. It's too hot out there. There's no way. And people out there, bringing their campers out there and everything else. Is no way. You have to be able to bring something.
Yeah, you got to be able to bring something. I mean, it's everybody. It's gotten so hot. Everybody and people drink water and consume water like they've never done before, and always have their own bottle.
If they don't, then Mickey say they come out there and pay for everybody's water.
Everybody gets a water on Lucas Panzica. By the way, Lucas got a giveaway right now. 1045 The Zone. We've teamed up with the folks at Big Machine Racing to give one lucky winner the ultimate NASCAR VIP experience with Big Machine Racing, the chance to meet Tyler Riddick, driver of the 48 Spiked Cooler Chevrolet. You want a shot at this? Be caller 5 now. Chance to win a pair of tickets to both the Rackley Roofing 200 and the Tennessee Lottery 250, plus qualify to win a Tennessee Lottery 250 VIP experience that includes garage, pit, hauler tour, walk the starting grid pre-race, experience the race from pit road. Man, this is amazing. Tickets for race weekend are going fast, so even if you don't win, call 866-RACE-TICKS or visit NashvilleSuperSpeedway.com. Again, caller number 5 gets them now, 615-737-1045. We'll let somebody get this winner. We'll come back. We'll give you the latest on Deshaun Watson. That is the biggest news in the sports world today, and there is big news that's coming up next. Blaine and Mickey live from Puckett's in Murfreesboro. Come see us. Come eat some barbecue. They got cherry cobbler. They got it all here, man.
Oh, I'm about to get some of that.
Eurofix.
o'clock. Appreciate you hanging out with us today and every day and listening to us. Now, normally we're talking to you from the radio station, but today we're at like one of the places we really like to hang out. It's Puckett's in Murfreesboro. That's right. Down on the square, the historic square in Murfreesboro. Love it down here. It's got that small town feel, which I grew up with. So I like to come down here. I like to hang out with the good people.
It's popping too, man. The stores are all up and vibing. It's good to see.
Eat good food and hang out. Puckett's is the spot. Their cherry wood smoked barbecue is cooked low and slow with a dry rub, resulting in fall off the bone tenderness. I will attest to that. I had some earlier with a sweet and smoky Tennessee flavor. You can try $49 Puckett's to go pack for dinner. So dinner tonight, done. You just come by here. You can say hello to the hitman and get yourself some dinner. Customize your family meal with any two meats, 2 Southern style sides, and more. Blaine, they also got all this gear. You can buy barbecue sauce. What did you tell me earlier? They got a deal on barbecue sauce?
2 for 1 to July 5th. Yeah, 2 for 1. Original barbecue sauce. Yeah. Buckets.
Memphis style. I like that kind of barbecue sauce. They know what I like around
Sweet
here.
and no heat.
You're supposed to be getting some dessert, right? Cherry cobbler? I saw that earlier.
Get some cherry cobbler.
I mean, they brought some to Kirby. He didn't share it, though.
Oh, that's not surprising.
Look at it.
Kirby won't get anybody none of his frozen
He's
Pepsi
got ice
or
in his
anything.
Pepsi.
Oh, my.
There
you heard it right
very
there.
excited. He is, again, this is another segment where he's talking to us but doesn't have a microphone. So he's saying his Pepsi is good and cold. The barbecue always good and hot here at Puckett's. So come on by and get yourself some. Very cool spot right down here again in lovely Murfreesboro. Oh, we do have a guest, Eric Moses, Nashville Super Speedway president. We were tracking him down. It looks like he has joined us now. So let's bring him in on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We'll get to the other headlines here in a minute, but we got big headlines coming up this weekend, a full weekend of racing at Nashville Super Speedway. And this is the guy who's in charge of the whole show. Eric, thanks for catching up to us, man. We know you're busy.
I'm sorry, guys, running around trying to do things at the last minute. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I was looking at the website. There's like a countdown. I mean, you're running out of time here. You got stuff to do. I get nervous when I see those things.
No, you have nothing to do.
That's
there.
right.
Eric, come on, man.
Yeah, I am looking for some people who maybe want to go fishing with me this weekend because I don't have anything going on. So, yeah.
All right. I have to ask you this. Before we ask you any racing questions, this is the thing that when Blaine and I were talking, we remember when you got hired or reading your bio and thinking, gosh, this guy's done everything. But here's my question for you. You graduated from Duke and North Carolina. When all these games come on TV, who in the world do you root for? What's that conflict like inside you?
There is zero conflict, my friend. I only applied to one college, and that was the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. You might know us as University of National Champions. So yes, my allegiances are true blue, Carolina blue. I love Duke Law School, root for the mock trial team every time they compete, but when it comes to sports, it's all about the heel.
Fair enough. You and Brandon Wright, we need to get you two guys together. So Nashville, a racing town. It is so cool to have you guys up and running over there because for years and years, no cup racing here in this city. And this is one of those places where this is a bedrock market for NASCAR. So when you guys got the race week, I literally have goosebumps thinking about this. It was so amazing to get that back and give these fans what they deserve again. That's got to be a special pride that you take in something like that.
Yeah, very special. You know, I knew about the great history of racing, stock car racing in this market from, the fairgrounds down in the 50s until about 1984 when they stopped having cup races down there, and really viewed it as a privilege and an honor to be able to bring back Cup Series racing to the Mid-State and to this region last year, and so thankful for the support that we received from folks in and around Nashville to really make that inaugural weekend really special.
Yes, sir. Eric Moses, president of the Nashville Super Speedway at Nashville SS Prez on Twitter. He's our guest on Blaine Mickey.
Well, Eric, I've been pumping up that you guys will jokingly give out some free water and have cold towels for us. So kind of tell us what you guys do for the fans in the fan zone while they're attending, thinking about the heat as well at the same time.
No, man, you were reading the talking points. I mean, that's exactly what we're going to do. I mean, we will get on Saturday, the first 5,000 folks that come through the doors, through the gates, will receive cooling towels, and then we'll do 15,000 of those on Sunday for our fans coming through to help them be cool. We've got free water refill stations throughout the campus and the venue, so folks are encouraged to bring their own Yetis and water bottles up to 64 ounces if that suits you. And you can fill up as many times as you like in free water refill stations. We have the cheapest water for a concession standpoint in the region, and certainly in this market at $4. And so, we're going to have misting stations out here and tents and shade for people to get them out of the heat as much as we can. And there'll just be so much more to do, see, and experience out here than last year, given where we are as a country and a market with COVID and those concerns.
Any special things, or do you have to be part of the VIP to, for the fan zone, let's say, or what do you get in the VIP as well?
Oh no, the fan zone is open to everybody. Okay. Yeah, that's where usually your NASCAR journey starts, in the fan zone, and we're going to have lots of great stuff in there. We'll have axe throwing. We've got bumper car rides. We're going to have rock wall and face painting, some canine performances. Our friends at the Tennessee Titans have some of their inflatables for kids that are going to be out here, and our friends over at the Professional Bull Riders Association are bringing out some mechanical bulls to do bull rides. So there will be a lot, like I said, to do, see, and experience out here, not to mention our sponsor activations that are always very captivating at a NASCAR race.
Well, kind of explain, this will be my first time going, if you're directing people, to make sure for parking and everything else, kind of take us through that whole process.
Yeah, the good thing about parking out here at the Nashville Super Speedway is all of our parking is relatively close. It's all on our campus. And in fact, this year we cleared another about 20 acres, literally right across the street from the track, to add almost 3,000 additional parking spaces. One of the bumps in the road that we had last year was the ability for folks to get in and get into the parking lots quickly. Last year we were charging a fee when you came in, so you'd stop to pay somebody and then get directed to a parking space. This year, in addition to adding those 3,000 parking spaces across the street, we're not charging a at venue parking fee. So you'll just be directed in to a parking spot, get you off the road, into a parking spot, out of your car, and into the venue much faster.
So if someone wants to also go and, let's say, set up their camper, kind of how is the setup for those people who want to kind of make it a huge weekend for the full schedule, the tripper header?
Well, those folks will start coming in here tomorrow, and anybody who's still interested in the camping site to bring their RV out can go to our website, NashvilleSuperspeedway.com, and look at or call 1-866-RACE-TIX, TIX, and talk to one of our account reps about a space for their camper. If you're interested in tailgating, we've got tailgate spaces and a beautiful vantage point up on a perch here we call the bluff that we have here that overlooks the track, and I know there are a lot of folks coming out and planning to tailgate, and so it's going to be a good time. Whatever kind of experience you want to have, you can have out here, and we'd be happy to have people.
Well, with the Nashville Super Speedway president, Eric Moses.
All right, Eric, my 7-year-old son, since this announcement was made, he says, Dad, you have to take me to a race. We watch races every weekend. He has car replicas of all the cars that he races around the coffee table the whole time. For us bringing kids to the race, and this will be his first ever NASCAR race that I'm bringing my son to. What all can I look forward to, like kid-wise, those of us who are bringing little people?
Yeah, like I said, the fan zone will be great for them. There's a bunch of stuff to do there. We'll have a kid zone that NASCAR is sponsoring with us, so he should be able to come out here and get some kind of insignia that shows that this is his first race. Lots to do. The one thing I will tell you and all parents, and frankly all fans, to keep in mind is ear protection. Yeah, the thing that makes our sport different and makes it great is that roar and rumble, but that roar is loud, and so you want to come out here with some ear protection. We'll have that for sale out here if you don't already have them. But it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot to do, see, and experience. And let me know if it's your kid's first time out here, man. Let me know when you guys are out here. I want to come by and thank him for his support and yours. We want to start laying the groundwork for future fans today.
Let me tell you something. That little dude's the biggest fan you got. He will be very excited about that. I'll ask you this. I remember flying over this track and even driving by out there. One day I just went and pulled up and I just looked through the fence when there was nothing going on out there. I think Nissan had some parked some cars on it. What was it like bringing this thing back to life again?
It was probably one of the most satisfying things I've done in my professional career. Again, knowing how much stock car racing and motorsports means to this region of the country and also this region of our state was just it was a lot of fun. And no matter where I go, whether it's down at the Nashville Fairground Speedway, whether it's at the Grand Prix last year, whether I'm at Daytona or Atlanta Motor Speedway, people recognize me and come up and thank me and my team for bringing NASCAR back to Nashville. And there is no better feeling than knowing that you've made people who love something really happy by giving it back to them.
Yeah, amen to that. What's the future for Nashville Super Speedway? Like, what can we look forward to? What do you got on the future docket out there?
Well, Blaine will appreciate this. I mean, I helped to birth a college bowl game when I was the sports commissioner in Washington, D.C., and an HBCU game while I was there, as well as a high school all-star football game. I want to do some football out here. We've got a 7-acre infield, and we've got some knowledge in this company. The biggest college football game ever was at our sister track in Bristol, and so we'd like to figure out how to get some stick and ball sports going on out here, in addition to concerts and festivals and other family events.
Ooh, sounds like my cup of tea right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Full weekend of racing. Like you said, the RV people start showing up. You got trucks, you got Xfinity, you got Cup. There's concerts, Brothers Osborne and everybody, Hunter Girl, fireworks. This is going to be a fantastic weekend. And tell people, like, where's the best place to go to get, I imagine it's your website, right? That's the best place to go to start getting information, buying tickets and everything else.
Yeah. At NashvilleSuperspeedway.com or Ticketmaster or 866-RACE-TICKS. For those who like to enjoy an occasional adult beverage, we partner with our friends at Tootsie's, so they will have the Tootsie's Infield Club that will make you feel like you're down on Broadway. And we're also going to have a 615 beer garden outside of Turn 4 for those that don't have infield access. So it's going to be a lot to do out here. People are going to have a great Nashville weekend, and we appreciate any and all who come out and join us.
I appreciate it, Eric. We'll see you this weekend.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. You'll see me out there with a little dude who can't stop smiling. Looking forward to it.
Good to see you guys.
Yes, sir. Eric
Thanks.
Moses, President, Nashville Super Speedway. How about that? Yeah. Football game out there.
Ooh.
You heard it here first. There you go.
Yeah, Kirby. Don't be mad, Kirby.
Oh, we'll take Kirby with us. Coach Mac is going to join us on the other side of the break. We teased this. If you're just kind of getting off your shift at work or you haven't had a chance to look at anything news-wise today, the big news in the sports world, Deshaun Watson has settled all but 4 of the lawsuits filed against him. At one point, there were 25. One was dropped. 20 have been settled. There are 4 that are not settled for Deshaun Watson. And as Blaine and I sat down again, we're at Puckett's today in Murfreesboro. When we sat down, Jeremy Fowler was on ESPN and was being interviewed, and they had a graphic basically below him. The NFL's comment was regarding the disciplinary process, because some people, okay, so what does this mean for the disciplinary part? Quote from the NFL, today's development has no impact on the collectively bargained disciplinary process. There was a report this weekend from Mark Maskey of the Washington Post, Blaine, who said he was hearing from Watson's people that he thought he would get a whole year. Which that's kind of something we talked about, that scenario.
Yeah, it was going to be, 8 to a year. It's kind of whatever, they have on them that we don't know about in detail about this whole situation. So, just want to move past it and get him suspended and get out the penalty before training camp and keep it moving. Hopefully everybody's okay too at the same time.
We'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield. That becomes a nice secondary story of what happens with him and what happens with the Browns. And the way they structured his contract, only $1 million in base pay out of the 200 and something guaranteed. He only stands to lose $1 million if he misses the whole year. So this tells us all what they thought was going to happen, and it very well could happen. I know what's happening next. That's Coach Mac is going to be joining us. Lots to get to with Coach Mac. As always, the Titans have wrapped up minicamp and OTAs and everything and gone their separate ways, except for the rookies. They're still out there practicing. Maybe Coach Mac is out there hanging out with them. We'll find out all that next. Live from Puckett's, it's Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone.
Coach Mac with us, presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. Coach Mac, we've got Malik Willis on the show tomorrow at 3:45. I'm anxious to talk with him. What have you seen from him, the rookie quarterback, obviously out there?
Here's a guy. I talked to him yesterday before practice. I was walking through and just stopped and introduced myself and talked to him for a minute. This guy, here's what I've been impressed with, and I think you've heard this from other people, but I'm telling you this just from my own personal inspection of just watching. This guy gets it, and he also gets it from the area of this. He has already, guys, at this stage of his young career, he's already experienced, sometimes how the expectations of who you should be or what you are, of how brutal that can be in the National Football League, because he sat for a while before the Titans were able to draft him. All right. So he went through that mental process, and then to see how he is mentally approaching the chance that he has gotten, this guy is a complete sponge out there. But you can see the athletic ability, but what impresses me more than the athletic ability is when I watch him and how intent he is upon doing everything and absorbing everything that he's being taught, and not only absorbing it, but trying to process it and then reproduce it in what he's doing. You guys you'll enjoy having him on, because he's very, very bright, and I've been impressed with him. And here's the other thing that I think you will come out of it after you talk to him: extremely, extremely mature young man, and that's important.
And Coach Mac, listening to you talk about Malik Willis this way, you don't really talk about rookies like this unless it's something that gives off that they get it. I heard you talk about Trevor Lawrence a little bit, Zach Wilson a little bit like this, but it's something about him that is dawning on you that you get it. This young man gets it.
Yeah, he does, and you can tell. I mean, you were the same way. Just think of all the young rookies that came in. To when you were an established veteran, you can tell just what the mindset is of a rookie, because all of them come in as their own distinct, personality.
Right.
But for him to come in, and especially at the quarterback position, and especially with, because the draft is the draft, but the expectations before the draft are huge. They really are. All of these guys are coming out now because the exposure is so massive. But then to just watch when all of that is stripped away. And that's what I like, when the draft is finally done and you can get on the field, and I'm talking about myself, and watch these guys strip away the veneer of everything, that is bright and shiny that has been said about them, but just watch them work in the environment that they're put in. You can tell pretty quick, this guy gets it, or this guy has a long way to go before he actually gets it. Not talking about being successful immediately, but having the mindset to work to be successful. This guy's got that. You guys will find that out when you talk to him.
On
1045 The Zone. We are at Puckett's in Murfreesboro. Shout out to everybody who's come by to see us today. We appreciate it so much. You can enjoy Puckett's at any of your favorite local Puckett's right here in Murfreesboro. You can start there. You can also enjoy it at the Nashville Super Speedway. Got a big weekend of raceway.
Ooh, I wonder if they're going to have this cherry cobbler there, man. But this is just awesome.
I don't know. They brought us one bowl and 2 spoons.
Man.
Like we're on a adventure here.
It has the Mickey, crafted
gelatinous mug.
Yeah, it has it in there.
I know tons of it. I don't like the cooked
You have
fruit.
it on your farm, right? You make it.
I grow. It's organic gelatinous mug. If you're going to go out to the race this weekend, sure, you can get Puckett's Barbecue, but you got to get in the race. The Zone has teamed up with Big Machine Racing to give one lucky winner an ultimate NASCAR VIP experience with Big Machine Racing and the chance to meet Tyler Reddick, driver of the number 48 Spiked Cooler Chevrolet. The Tennessee Lottery 250 VIP experience includes garage, pit, and hauler tour. Walk to the starting grid pre-race. You can experience the race from pit road and more. Man, that's fun. Tickets are going fast, so call 866-RACE-TICKS or visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com and be sure to keep listening to Blaine and Mickey for your chance to win a pair of tickets and qualify for the ultimate NASCAR VIP experience courtesy of Big Machine Racing. Lucas also says, do this. Giveaway right now. Caller 5, 615-737-1045 and caller 6, $25. Oh, I got my own plate of cherry cobbler now.
Sean brought us another one.
You can win $25 in Puckett's gift cards. And anyway, when you come to Puckett's, you get the food. They got the dry rub. They got all the sauces, hats, T-shirts. They got tons of stuff here. Not just food. You can take it home and make it yourself.
2 for 1 on the barbecue sauce.
2 for 1 on barbecue sauce.
Only till July 5th, though.
Okay, so you got to hurry, says Blaine Bishop.
You get those fireworks on your barbecue.
That's right. Man, we got it all planned out for you. We got it all planned out with Coach Mac, who joins us now as well. Coach Mac, how in the world are you doing today?
Guys, it sounds like you guys are having a great time at Puckett's.
Oh, man. Always great people.
It could be any better.
Well, there's barbecue here, and they just keep feeding us, Coach, which are things that we like.
Yeah, when I first joined the Titan, one of the first places that Jim Washburn took me was the original Puckett's out there in Leapers Fork. That's when Andy Marshall, who's the owner, he and his wife, that was their first one. When he came out of the grocery store business and decided to go into the restaurant business and bought a small grocery store. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that original.
Oh yeah.
But it was a great experience, and since then, he has expanded. I think he's got 7 or 8 now, and they're all tremendous. I've eaten at quite a few of them. I've never been to the one. Are you guys in Murfreesboro? Is that where you guys are today?
Yes, sir.
I've never been to that one, but I've been to one in Columbia. I've been to one clearly here. It's absolutely tremendous food. If Andy Marshall's down there, tell him Coach Mac said hello.
Well, if we see him, we just everywhere we go, Coach Mac, we tell him you said hello just because we like the perks that go with being associated with Coach Mac.
And you know what? I'm always willing to share my perks with my friends. You guys are my friends.
Hey, I know you and I have a similar conversation when the guys go their separate ways this time each year, but I always love to ask you this and let people hear. So once everybody was finished with what they're doing as far as off-season activities, what was that gap like for you and your coaching staff, or when you were on a staff? How much actual time away did you try to take just to give yourself a mental break?
Yeah, at least a month. Those coaches are still. I'm out of town. I've been gone, since they were through with their mandatory mini camp. So I'm on the Mac Over America tour now until I get back. but the coaches, at least a month, at least 1 month, 4 full weeks, for your family, so that you could just recharge, and you need it. Those coaches are still up there now with the rookies, and they will be there, I think, probably through the end of this week. But after that, you, as a head coach, you encourage your assistants and everybody involved just to get away, because it's getting ready to be a real grind, and something that you're going to have to be dialed into every day. The off-season for the National Football League has shortened dramatically. Since I got into the league, every year it would shorten more and more and more, but you've got to get away. So to answer your question, you've got about 5.5 to 6 weeks between when training camp starts, because you can start your training camp 15 days before your first preseason game and the end of your mandatory mini camp. So at least a month, I would tell my coaches, get lost.
Wow. What was your final message to your coaches and your team before everybody split up?
Well, it's different with the team. I mean, because the players always just look. You've worked really hard to get here, and now everything that we put together and worked for, it's all going to start coalescing and being for real when you get back here. Don't do anything to jeopardize that. Just don't do anything to jeopardize that. Think about that, because now when you're the National Football League, and this was important to tell the rookies, your actions are really the responsibility to everybody.
Right.
Because what you do, if you're going to be a contributor to this team, what you do that would affect the team negatively affects everybody, and it not only affects them, because they feel bad about what's happened for you. It affects their money. So just understand where this is and what you're involved in. You've got a wonderful opportunity. Continue to enjoy the opportunity, but enjoy it doing the right things. Your coaches, I mean, they know. The main thing I would tell them is, look, you need to get away and recharge. If I need you, I'll call you. If I don't call you, I don't need you. See you back here when we start.
Sure. Coach Mac, brought to you by Farm Bureau each and every week. For better rates, better coverage, better service. That's why Tennesseans have been relying on Farm Bureau health plans for their coverage for over 75 years, just like we rely every week for Coach Mac on the Mac Attack.
Well, Coach, all that sounds real easy, and getting away, absolutely got to get away. But how long is it before your mind starts coming back to football? Now, you could say get away and you're not in the facility, you're out of town at your home location or visiting family. But at some point in time during that month period, there's no way your mind doesn't get back to football. Does it?
Well, I think as a head coach, it's different, because you're as a head coach.
Okay.
And I've been fortunate enough to have that position. You're in charge of everything. And so you're never really off the clock as a head coach. As an assistant coach, maybe even you can some, the responsibility now, I can say this, Blaine, and you've got a good point. When I moved from a position coach to a coordinator, my off time was a little bit more still focused on, because what do I want to do? How can I be better? How can I be better for my coaches and my players when they come back? And so the more responsibility that you have, the more shrinkage that you have in your completely free time. But as a young assistant coach, I mean, I relished, the time off because it was a grind when you got back. But does it ever completely leave your mind? No, it doesn't, because you know this, and you can speak to this, Blaine, and I can too. You think 4 weeks is a long time? It happens close your eyes and you're back in.
Oh, no doubt.
And so, yeah, it really does. And so, but I will say this, and I think anybody that's been involved with it, especially at the professional level, knows really after about 2.5 to 3 weeks, you're going, let's go. Yeah. Let's go, because you know what's coming, and then the anticipation is what starts taking your mind back to the season coming up.
Oh, Coach, man, I thought it was something wrong with me. I guess I was addicted to the grind. So after about a week, it was almost impossible for me not to be thinking about football and ball and how to get better and getting ready, getting excited just to get this thing started. So
let me say something to that. There was nothing wrong with you. That's why you were able to stay as long as you did.
Yeah, it was always work to be done. I guess speaking about work to be done, when you look at the team, and I just want to kind of look at the secondary, you're a defensive guy. What are your concerns with the secondary? When I say that, it's not really concerns. It's just that the youth of the cornerback position, I think you want to see them in action in games. How do you kind of get over that as a coach of youth and trusting in the guys? That was always something tough, even as a player for me, but I couldn't imagine if I was sitting in the coach's chair.
You've got to put them out there. This is the time now. You've been through the OTAs. You've had, you've got Caleb Farley coming back, from an injury that looked like he was, coming back in pretty good shape. You've got a young player that you drafted in McCrary that's looking pretty good, but you've got to put them out there. And so that's why I say, Blaine, first of all, you can't be scared to put them out there, and you can't be nervous about putting them out there, any of them. It's the time to do it. The thing that I like about the setup that we have coming into us when we all finally go back to this with the Titans is they've got two teams coming in here that they're going to work out against. Two good football teams that you're going to be able to test players just like those young secondary players, especially those young corners. In 2 or 3 practices, they're going to be very, very telling. I like the fact that it's set up like that, but you've got to be able to find out, because you're going to go into a first game against the Giants that have a new head coach. It's an offensive coach, so you're going to see some different things from him. So you're going to have to test those young players. And to your point, once you get back, you can't have any reservations about putting them out there to test them. Now, what they do with the test, that's up to them. But this is definitely a time coming up that it's now or never for these guys.
And one more thing on the defensive side, your specialty linebackers, I'm always looking for, let's say, maybe where potential holes could be. Naturally, after your starting group, it looks really good. But then behind those guys, depth at linebacker, kind of take us through what you see and potentially in not having any concerns with the depth at the linebacker position.
Well, I like what Monty Rice is. I think Monty Rice proved last year the time that he got in there to play. And then we'll see what Campbell is, the rookie, when he gets in there to play. The thing that doesn't concern me as much about that to begin with, Blaine, when you really start looking at how many times you are playing a true 2 or even 3 linebacker set anymore because of all the 11 personnel that you get, and plus with the multiplicity that you can drop some people down into the box to be able to get some of those reads and do some of those things against 11 personnel or even 12 personnel when they spread it out. So a big depth. I used to, in a 4-3 defense, when I was coaching 4-3 defense and I was a linebacker coach, they would always ask me, how many would you like to have, on the active roster? And I would always say, well, if I've got a guy that's a true special teams player, and that's what he is. He may be designated a linebacker. I'd really like to have at least 5. I'd like to have at least 5 and one guy that can swing. Well, this to me, if you're going to be playing with 2 most of the time, what you really need is 4, and you'd really like to have 5 of them. One of them being a major contributor on special teams, because when you're dressing guys for the active roster, and that's where my mind always goes when I start looking at a roster. It's not at the 90, it's not at the 75. It's at the active roster on Sundays. Most of your if you've got 1 linebacker or 2 that can fill in on the special teams spot, but fill your special teams guys, your core special teams guys with other positions, then I think you can get by nowadays with fewer just stand up behind the ball linebackers.
We're on with Coach Mac, giving us the Mac Attack from Titans Radio.
Coach, it's interesting to hear any team's coaches talk about, their specific players or schemes or what they're working on. Craig Aukerman spoke last week, and he just lit up when he talked about Trenton Cannon and his abilities to help the Titans special teams unit. He's an interesting guy because I think fans always get caught up in, well, if a guy's a running back, he's got to make it as a running back, or if a guy's a receiver, he's got to make it a receiver. There are guys who are going to make the team because of their abilities on special teams. And Trenton Cannon sure seems like he'll be an interesting candidate in that regard, among some others.
Yeah, and that goes to my point, just what I was saying in that
segment,
with Blaine. I mean, you can get core special teamers from your running backs, from your receivers that are gunners, from your tight ends. If you're going to have a multiple tight end offense, well, some of those guys are going to have to be core teamers, but your running backs, is a major part of it, and also your safeties, and then some of your corners out there that can learn to double team the gunners. And so, to me, I think you make a very, very good point. There are guys. Look, what's the minimum now in the National Football League? $770,000 a year for a first-year player. You can make a pretty good living being a really good special teams player.
You absolutely can. I know you and I have talked about this just whenever we are able to speak off the air, but USFL, they actually have finished their regular season. They'll finish their playoffs soon. It was a no small victory, no small feat for them to finish their season because we haven't seen any of these alternate leagues do it. But they did it, and it gave a bunch of guys a chance to keep their football careers going, gave coaches a chance to coach, gave some young guys a chance to be head coaches, that kind of thing. It was an interesting watch, but maybe they've even bought themselves next year too as well, Coach. And I'm glad because I like seeing people have the chance to play if they want to play and coach if they want to coach.
I just like the more opportunities in the game for people, and not only players and coaches, but the officials, the support staff, people that can still continue to stay employed or to be able to pursue their dreams in football. I'm going to be very interested to see. You'll probably track this pretty well, Mickey, as far as guys that have played in this active USFL once they finish their championship game in Canton. in July to see how many guys are invited to camp.
Sure.
To see how many of these guys are invited to camp, because at the end of the day, that's really what the reason is, that these players are into it. And to me, I will look forward to seeing that. And then I think the bottom line is what is Fox, who owns them? What did they do? What does the bottom line tell them as far as eyeballs and as far as just the economics of what this first year was? They were very smart about it by keeping everybody in Birmingham. Do they try to split it and try to put 4 teams someplace in Birmingham and 4 teams another place the next year? Do they keep them all in Birmingham for the second season? I very much would like to see the second season, whatever iteration of that comes out, just because I like seeing people get a chance.
Absolutely. Coach Mac giving us the Mac attack on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Coach, what battles are you looking forward to, or any side of the ball, offense or defense, or even special teams in the kicking game?
Yeah, I want to me, it's going to be very interesting. Now, all the times that we've talked before, and we talk very realistic about what you're doing during OTAs in this time. And I've said it before, it's shadow boxing for the big guys, as far as now, once the pads come on, I really want to watch and see how this offensive line develops. That to me is going to be very, very important, to see, what Dylan Radin has, where's his progression? Where's Nicholas Petit-Frere? What has he done? What is Aaron Brewer looking like? I want to see this offensive line, with pads on. And again, we talked about the chances that the young secondary people are going to get, because you're working out against 2 very good football teams coming in here in the preseason in camp. I want to see what these offensive linemen do too. I'm looking forward to that quite a bit.
No doubt about it. We're on with Coach Mac giving us the Mac attack. Well, I'm always going to be interested in naturally seeing how the first rounder does. And I was looking up statistics of him, that he played 70% of the time, and we're talking about Burks, of inside slot receiver and not outside. And it looks like, that he may not be doing that as much in this offense, being of his size and everything else. At least that's what I'm guessing. So what is the difference between playing inside and outside in the National Football League, and what that transition will be like once we see him in training camp, which I'm assuming we will see him at some point?
It really depends on what your philosophy is offensively. A lot of people put bigger people inside inside in the slot. And a lot of people in 12, we start talking about 12 personnel, which is too tight. A lot of people have that second tight end split out in that slot most of the time, because they're looking for the matchup game. And what you're looking at, the thing about a slot receiver, this, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but this is for our listeners. Anybody that's in the slot most of the time is off the ball until you're able to move. You're able to move. You're able to get away from jams. You're able to do some of those things. But you're also having to work against some congested areas in the middle of the football field. When you're talking about big X receivers, you're going to have to be on the line of scrimmage. You're going to have to be able to escape and be physical to escape most of the jams, on the line of scrimmage. A Z receiver, again, is in motion, but a slot receiver, what you want is somebody is going to either be able to get away from condensed coverage one of 2 ways, either foot quickness or size and muscle. And so it depends on what you are doing. And a lot of it depends on when you get matchups against people during the year as to who they're playing in the slot. If you've got a hybrid playing in the slot, you might want a bigger guy in there. If you've got your third best, or sometimes people put their second best corner in the slot, against 11 personnel, then you may want somebody that's got a little more getaway quick. So a lot of that depends on your philosophy and also your week-to-week philosophy as to who you're playing against for the matchups.
Yeah, Coach Mac giving us the Mac attack.
Coach, thank you. You can get back to the Mac Across America tour, and we look forward to speaking with you next week already, sir. Have safe travels wherever all you're going this summer.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. Enjoy buckets. Is Kirby Allen Kirby there with you?
He's
of course
telling stories at the table next to us, of course.
Well, no, what he's doing. He's America's guest. He's eating and drinking for free. I know what he's doing.
100%. He's done a lot of that, too. Thanks, Coach Mac.
See you guys.
Yes, sir. America's guest, Kirby Allen Kirby. We are at Perkins. We're at Puckett's with Kirby Allen Kirby. He's here eating and drinking, and you should be too. We got one more segment coming up. We'll be wrapping things up next, including talk about a couple of these secondary guys that Blaine brought up with Coach Mac. Got a couple of notes, one involving current Titan, one a past Titan. We'll share it next.
Then what they did is they signed Christian Kirk from Arizona, and a lot of people spoke about the money. But I think the thing about Kirk in the context of a Doug Peterson offense is he's going to line up both inside and outside. He gives you that kind of flexibility, and I think they really wanted that. And then they also signed Zay Jones from the Las Vegas Raiders. Mm-hmm. And Zay Jones is another guy who, again, not a star, but you can line him up and play. He's been in the league. He's a quality receiver, never been a full-time starter, could well get that opportunity this year. So they did upgrade their wide receiver position. They might not have the one guy that you look at and say, hey, we have to take him away or we have to double him, but they're better at the wide receiver position than they were a year ago.
I want to go back to the Music City Miracle where you're spotting for Mike Keith, right? Yep. For those who don't know, you're pointing out tacklers, injured players. Mm-hmm. You are the eyes for the play-by-play guy for the things that he can't see.
Yep.
So during the Music City Miracle, or even the final play of the Super Bowl with Kevin Dyson reaching out 1 yard short, what are you doing in that moment? Like, what is your job during the Music City Miracle? Is there anything that you can do at that point helping Mike Keith make that call, or is that just pure chaos in the booth?
It's pure chaos that ended up being radio gold. There was nothing I could have done because Mike had been at all those practices. He had seen them run the home run throwback at the end of each practice. And we all remember the players going, I don't know why we're running this. We're never going to do this. What are we doing? We did it every practice, at the end of every practice. So he saw it immediately, and so did Pat Ryan. And there was nothing I could point to.
You're just waiting for a tackler, right?
Because it's down, where our booth is, it's at about the 40-yard line. This happens at the 20 going towards the south, 25-yard line towards the south end zone. And he sees it all develop right there. And mind you, the booth is one of the best views in the league, home or away, because we're not in the nosebleeds like we are in Houston or in Indianapolis now. And so just to see all that unfolded, because you would think with the way Pat Ryan is chirping over here, he's got it. He's got something. And Mike is just doing this tango with him, completely unscripted, all just like it happened organically. It was amazing. That was a pinch yourself moment.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Thanks to everybody at Puckett's. They always treat us fantastic here. And then people come out and say hello. We've been talking to Marvin over here. And
yeah, he's our number one fan of the show right there.
He asked, is Ron Slay really like he is? And he said, everybody loves Ron Slay. I know he's all geared up in his UT gear. We said, yes, Ron is always like that. He's always in the building.
Well, I told him I shut the door. He is not in the building.
I'm surprised, though. He said most buildings we need to go to. He is everywhere. He is not at Puckett's, though, but we were here today. You need to come by here, pick up. They've got these packs, $49 Puckett's to go pack for dinner. Customize it. You can get 2 meats, 2 Southern-style sides, and more. With their great barbecue, you can buy sauce here and dry rub and T-shirts. You can come by here for a great meal. I really want to come back. There's a Puckett's near me that I love to have breakfast at, so I'll come back here sometime to have breakfast too. But great place to bring your crew, your family, or just you. You can come sit at the bar and look at ESPN and listen to us while you have your meal. All right, PFF, outside cornerback ratings. They're rating everything right now. You know me, I love lists.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Fulton, number 30, says after a light workload of mostly slot snaps as a rookie, he finally got a chance to showcase his outside skill in 2021, proceeded to post a top 25 coverage grade from that position, had 2 interceptions, had a 16.7 forced incompletion rate, which was 10th among outside corners, and 12 passing stops, which was tied for 11th, it says. He's at his best when things are kept in front of him, which is what Tennessee's defense asked him to do. Here's my question. If he's like 10th and 11th in all these stats, why'd they put him 30th?
What
did I miss?
Well, that's your stat guy.
No,
I don't understand it, because when I watch him, I see him really getting a lot better each and every year, each and every snap. I think the only thing I can really say that he needs to get better at, and it's really not a knock on him, is when he's playing the physical receivers, that they're trying to push him on their breaks. And sometimes it gets him a little bit off balance. I noticed in the Jets game, I noticed in the Bengals game against Jamar Chase, and when he was pushing him on the breaks. So, and then that creates separation. So you got to get a little more physical. Other than that, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. Probably the best of the bunch. I'm interested to see McCreary. The verdict's still out on Farley, so we haven't seen enough on him. But right now, we got to see. This season really is his rookie season, and see how much he plays it if he's even out there as a starter. Because you got to, as a cornerback, you got to start getting reps, and you have to go through those experiences, game in and game out. It can't just be about practice. It has to be actually in game, because you have to have that feeling of, okay, if he does this and what I'm a counter. A good example of that is Christian Fulton versus the Bengals. He hadn't played the Bengals. He played off. Well, they just threw a little hitch out there, and then he took it 70, right, or whatever it was. Well, if he would have got up in the press, even though he wasn't in the press, guy was off the line, then you bail. They don't make that throw. They actually run the routes that were called in the huddle. That wasn't a called play. So those are the experiences that you have to go through. And he only did it one time, matter of fact, the rest of the game. What I can say is he made an adjustment to that in game. So I don't know if it was the coaches or him, but he hadn't shown that all season, just that one rep or one play that he gave off. They were ready for it. Obviously, they see something in film. When they do this, this is what we're going to do. So those are the experiences you have to go through, and let alone a cornerback getting beat, because you're going to get beat. And I'm talking about getting beat for a touchdown. And then how you respond to that. Are you going to go and change what you were doing, your approach, or are you going to stay the same and just say, hey, he just made a heck of a play on me, and I just got to put myself in a better position to make a play? Because this game is built on throwing the football, and they're going to make catches. Obviously, that's the whole point. But
it's set up for them to make catches.
But he's always around the ball and making plays on the ball. His PBU rate, I thought, was really high in his second season. So, man, that's a great sign. Right now, he's at the top of the list. I'm interested to see everybody's talking great about McCreary, but I want to see him in game and in phase to see if he is exactly what he's been at practice.
Here was the other one. PFF ranked the best cornerbacks in press coverage from 2021. Number 1 was Trayvon Diggs. Number 2 was Jalen Ramsey. Number 3 was Jackrabbit Jenkins. He got their 3rd highest press coverage grade. He's still not on a team right now.
Well, now this is one of the reasons why I don't even like PFF. They must have been drinking or something. I don't know what they was drinking, but they were drinking something, man. It wasn't Kool-Aid either. Yeah, that was not. And as I said all season, I did not like what I was seeing from Jackrabbit. I mean, I didn't see it. I felt like he lost a step. He wasn't technically sound, and I think he lapsed in coverage sometimes and made mistakes. And all those things, when you're a veteran, And if you lose a half a step, that's big, man. You can't have it. He's supposed to be an example. So I really didn't think he, brought as much as everybody was saying. Obviously, he didn't when he wasn't there, but a season.
Time for us to take our seasoning and get it out of here. We had some delicious barbecue. Speaking of seasoning, you can get dry rub. You can get it all here at Puckett's. Come by here anytime, and anytime we're here, come by and see us. But it's time for us to get out of here, though. 3HL coming up next.
In the meantime.
In between time, everybody. Peace.